Hey guys, Andrew Stroud. I'm here in the sideboard. I'm sitting with Braun-Duin and Chris VanMeter, two veterans of the Versus video. And today we are going to pick their brains about Legacy. So let's go ahead and get started. The first question, what deck are you playing this weekend and why did you choose to play it? BBD, let's start with you.
I am playing Blue, White, Red Stoneblade.
Jeskai Stoneblade.
Yeah, come on, man.
Jeskai. I wanted to loosen them up with a color combination before telling them the real name, which is Jeskai Stoneblade.
Sure.
With Young Pyromancers in the deck as well.
Okay, why did you choose to play it?
Because I feel like the deck's like really powerful, and for one, I wanted to play Treasure Cruise, and Cruise, Gitaxian Probe, and Young Pyromancer all go really well together.
Sure. All right, CVM?
I am playing a brand new deck that people haven't heard of, Blue-Red Delver.
Oh yeah!
A little something different. I'm actually playing something similar to a list that Caleb Durward wrote about recently, where I have a lot of burn. So we're going to be Chain Lightning and Price of Progress and Fire Blasting people out because Days is Stains.
Okay. We just wanted to be proactive and throw fire around there.
Yeah, like everybody just has one-man Ancestral Recalls. I don't want to, have a card in my deck that they can just play around the entire game and not have it affect them very much.
All right, fair enough.
You also don't want Ancestral Recall and draw 3 Dazes.
Yes. Plus, like with this being like a Treasure Cruise based format, like even if they get a spell dazed, it doesn't matter. It just fuels their Treasure Cruises. So like you want to actually be playing things that matter.
Okay, sure. The next question, and we'll start with you, CVM. How have you adjusted for the Treasure Cruise metagame?
By playing Treasure Cruise. Also, I'm just trying to be extremely proactive. I want to affect the board, try and control the tempo. Treasure Cruise can be a very swingy card. Like once you get into a top deck war, like Treasure Cruise can just steal the game.
Okay.
So you just want to be as proactive as possible, and I'm playing a lot of burn in my deck to close the game out before Treasure Cruise can be relevant.
Gotcha. All right, BBD?
By playing Treasure Cruise, actually, is how I adjusted. Yeah, so I'm also playing Treasure Cruise, and similarly, I have a proactive strategy, which I think is where you want to be with cards like Treasure Cruise in the format. Mine's a little slower than CVM, but has cards like Stoneforge Mystic that can catch you back up against those kinds of decks, and put pressure on them in ways they may not be prepared to answer.
All right. Another kind of aspect of preparation for this GP. BBD, how does a 4,000 player GP affect your tournament preparation?
I mean, it really doesn't. Like, I think the low extreme will affect your tournament preparation. So if it's like 16 players or something, you'll definitely prepare differently.
Okay.
But I think anytime it's like, the difference between 2,000 and 4,000, I think is pretty negligible. You still are trying to go like 13-2 or whatever, or whatever record gets you there. So I don't think it shouldn't. At least it doesn't affect me, but I don't think it should affect that much.
All right, CVM, how do you feel about it?
As far as tournament preparation, not so much. Along the same lines as BBD, the big difference for it is in sideboard cards. Gotcha. You want to have cards that are much more flexible and can play roles in much more different matchups, as opposed to like very narrow cards for one specific card or one specific deck. Like I would much rather have a card that's good, that's on a scale of 1 to 10, that's like a 7 out of 10 against 3 decks, as opposed to a card that's a 10 out of 10 against 1 deck.
Okay, just want to be as flexible as possible.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what Legacy looks like right now. The next question for you, CVM. What's the best Delver deck in Legacy right now? I think you kind of have given your vote already, but...
yeah, I think the Blue-Red Delver is just the best Delver deck.
Okay.
I don't think, like, you can be Jeskai Delver, you can be Temur Delver, you can be Sultai Delver, but, like, none of the cards that you're going to gain from a different color is going to be better than Young Pyromancer, so I think you just want to play the best version of the Young Pyromancer Delver deck, which is Blue-Red.
Sure.
I mean, I agree. Like, I think Blue-Red's just the best Delver deck, and by like a pretty sizable amount. All
right. Okay. Let's get away from the blue decks then. BBD, what is the best non-blue Legacy deck?
Well, after the spanking I just received in the Versus video, I'm inclined to say Punishing Jund.
Okay.
Because that just wrecked me. But I'm not sure that it's actually the best. Like maybe like lands might be better, or something along those lines. But I think maybe it's Punishing Jund.
All right. Steven, what do you think?
Well, it draws just as many cards as the blue decks, but I probably would have to say that I think Elves is the best non-blue deck in Legacy. But it's very, very close. Like I played Punishing Jund in our video, and it's much better against the cruise decks than I initially thought.
Okay.
It's very weak to the combo decks, but against the other creature decks and the cruise decks, Punishing Jund is actually, I think it's very good.
All right. It's a strong endorsement, and I guess we got to see that in action tonight. So
Yeah.
fair enough. Let's talk a little about what we could do to tweak the format some. CVM, if you could ban or unban one card in Legacy, what would it be?
Well, I would unban a card.
Okay.
And it would be Mana Drain.
Okay.
Because I think it would be very interesting. We're casting these 1-mana Ancestral Recalls that actually have 8 in their top right corner on the card, so you would get 8 mana from your Mana Drain, which I think would shake the format up quite a bit.
Okay. So we're trying to counteract Treasure Cruise?
I don't know if it's just to counteract Treasure Cruise. I think that Mana Drain is just one of those cards that's been on the verge of having a chance to come back.
Okay.
In fact, there was, I remember reading an article recently that was reposted about when they were dealing with the Time Spiral block, and they were thinking about adding purple into Magic, and they were testing it, and the flagship card for the color purple was Mana Drain.
Okay.
So I think that it's definitely a card that could see play. The problem is that if it could very easily just be too good, but I would like to see it happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's the risk with any card you unban, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would be too good. Like, Counterspell doesn't see that much play, and it's only like a little bit better than Counterspell.
Just a little bit.
I mean, it really isn't that much better than Counterspell. Like, I don't know.
BBD, what about you? What would you ban or unban?
I would unban Black Vice, because why is it even banned? I don't even know. Like,
all right.
Why is it even banned?
That's fair. It was not very much fun in 1994.
Yeah, but
that reasoning probably still holds up.
Yeah, it's one of the cards that's still left over of like the Legacy ban list was the Vintage restricted list.
Yeah.
And like it was restricted in Vintage forever, so it was on the Legacy ban list. They've unrestricted it in Vintage, but it's still banned in Legacy, probably because of lazy house cleaning.
Yeah, it might be a reasonable card. I'll give you that.
I don't think it would even see play.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but.
All right, last question. Treasure Cruise or Dig Through Time? BBD?
I think it is Treasure Cruise and not even close at all.
Okay.
Even in some of the heavier control decks that I was testing for this event, Treasure Cruise was still better than Dig Through Time because it costs 1 mana instead of 2 mana.
Sure.
And that's actually extremely relevant in pretty much every deck, so I think Treasure Cruise is just better. Even in decks where you think Dig would be better, I think Treasure Cruise is probably still better.
Okay, even in like combo decks?
Probably, yeah.
All right. CVM, what do you think?
I agree. Costing 1 mana is huge. Plus, the payoff for building your deck to take advantage of Treasure Cruise is much better than the payoff for building your deck to take advantage of Dig Through Time.
Okay.
Like when you have like these Delver style decks, or even like the Stoneblade style decks that are taking advantage of Treasure Cruise, having all of these proactive cards, all these redundant cards that just all take control of the game in the same way, like you're getting a much bigger payoff from playing the Delve spell.
Okay.
That being said, I am playing both, so.
Fair enough.
Because you're playing 4 Cruise, 1 Dig.
All right. All right, we're going to wrap things up with the lightning round.
Okay.
We're going to do a little word association.
All right.
So you guys are going to have to answer at the same time. So as soon as I say this word, both of you snap it off. Say the first word that comes to your mind. Legacy.
Stoneforge.
Delver.
Dredge.
No!
Vine. Keep it clean.
All right. Fetch.
Land.
Yeah, land.
Terminus.
Hold on, can I change my answer?
No.
Sensei's Divining Top.
Since it's my time. I was going to change my answer to Conley Woods on Fetch.
Oh, that's real good, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Trophy.
Wife.
2.
Okay. Jersey.
New.
Brainstorm.
Yes!
Chris VanMeter.
BBD.
Really?
Yeah.
CVM's answer is really. Let the record state that is what Chris VanMeter thinks about himself.
I said that to elicit whatever the best response I could get out of CVM was.
All right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That does it for this segment of Quick Questions. BBD, CVM, thanks for sitting down with me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Stick around. We've got plenty more coverage coming of Grand Prix New Jersey.